All right, you guys ready to get to the halfway point? Um, about 14 hours away from kickoff tomorrow. Seattle Seahawks hosting the Washington Redskins. Let's go ahead and talk about it now. I couldn't really make this video until now because there was so much we didn't know about this game until, well, basically Saturday night. So basically, we've got mostly the Seattle Seahawks hosting mostly the Washington Redskins. Both teams have so many injury concerns right now, they don't really look like themselves. And it's possible that a lot of these questionable players are actually going to go out there and play, but it, it, it it's a game you just want to get out of with the win. And in the case of this particular game, it's the Seahawks who are hoping to just get out of there with a win since they're pretty heavy favorites. But it's a game that I think both sides will be happy when it's over because neither team is playing with their full deck. Now, first of all, I'll just say that you have to fully expect to win this game. I'm going to say some nice things about Washington. They've got a competent slew of offensive playmakers. They've got some decent things going on defense. They're a team that had a little bit of hype coming into this season. It hasn't totally worked out. But there is one reason that needs to be talked about before anything else why the Seahawks should fully be expected to win this game. Washington's offensive line is in as bad a shape as you will find any offensive line, really. They're going to be missing 3 starters, possibly 4 tomorrow, including both of their tackles. I believe their center. They might not have their best offensive guard. They are playing backups everywhere. I mean, if you Seahawks fans, and you know who you are, if you complain about the offensive line a lot too, like me, if you're a normal Seahawks fan who watches games normally, and you know that this offensive line deserves complaining about, then what you're about to see on the other side is going to be really bad. It's going to look really familiar to us. So right off the bat, Frank Clark, Michael Bennett, Sheldon Richardson, hopefully Sheldon Richardson, Nazir Jones, Jerron Reed, Brandon Jackson, Marcus Smith, all these guys tee off. This is your chance to pad your stats because you're going to be playing an offensive line full of backups that frankly probably doesn't really know what they're doing. So that right there should be a big reason to expect a victory because our defensive line should destroy their offensive line. It should prevent them from getting off any big pass plays down the field. Should result in a lot of negative plays. Should result in some turnovers. And at that point, the offense just needs to not blow the game. And that should be good enough. Now, if the defensive line does not dominate their matchups, as they should, then things are not great. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's a good quarterback, good capable quarterback. He's about to become the richest player in NFL history probably, so let's at least give him that much. He's a good quarterback. They've got a good slew of running backs, although Rob Kelly might not play. They've got good wide receivers, although Jamison Crowder not going to play. So as you can see, their injuries go beyond simply the offensive line. Their entire offense is half dead right now. They're missing both of their 2 best tight ends, Jordan Reed and Niles Paul, both out for this game for sure. And despite all that, they have enough on offense to punish us if we don't get to Kirk Cousins, because on our side, our injury situation probably not nearly as bad as Washington's, but we don't have Earl this week. We know that for sure. I fully support it. In fact, I would like him to miss the Thursday night football game as well in Arizona, and we can get him back for Atlanta. I would really prefer it if Earl didn't have to play the next 2 weeks. Bradley, McDougald, get it done. But yeah, Earl is the dude who patrols the center of the field. He patrols the deep routes. He's why it's so hard to bust big, long passing plays against this defense. And if we don't get to Kirk Cousins, he could be hitting Vernon Davis down the seam for big gains down the center of the field. He could find other ways to make big plays down there as well. So that's the kind of stuff I don't need to be seeing. The defensive line needs to do their job tomorrow so our secondary, which is missing Earl Thomas, doesn't suffer as a result. And that's going to be the story of the game. What can the defensive line do for us? I already listed all the guys' names. They got to produce the way we know that they're capable of producing. All those guys are capable of dominating the trenches. Just go out there and do it against backups, and we got this. We have this mainly because Russell Wilson is starting to feel it, and we're at the point now where it is reasonable to expect at least 17 points from this offense every week when Russell is feeling it, the way he has the last two games he's played. And as long as that continues to be the case, in a game like this, 17 points should be more than enough. He could always go off for more than that. This is not a great Washington defense by any stretch. They're okay. They do some things reasonably well, but you know, they have injuries on that side of the ball too. It's not nearly as bad as the offense, but it's absolutely a game where, you know, Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett, Jimmy Graham, those guys should have good games, and hopefully we'll be able to get something of a running game going behind our new stud left tackle and a commitment to allowing Eddie Lacy to eat. This is his chance. This is Eddie Lacy's chance to show that he's worth the money we gave him. It's got to be somebody, and Thomas Rawls has been letting me down big time the last 2 weeks. Eddie Lacy, you're up. Do it. Do it, and the job can be yours for the rest of the year. I really, really believe that. So that's it for that. That's it for the game. The injury report that came out Friday was a little eerie. I already listed all the stuff that Washington has to deal with. They have it way worse than us. I'm going to be realistic here. Washington's injury situation right now is awful. The injury report that we got on Friday had Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, Jeremy Lane, let me look at this, Sheldon Richardson. Yeah, those 4 guys are questionable. Tanner McAvoy and CJ Prosise are questionable too, but who gives a shit? Yeah, that's not cool. I was not expecting that. I don't know where that came from. And it seems like it's all new stuff. I mean, Cam Chancellor, ankle, I didn't know about that. Bobby Wagner, hamstring, didn't know about that. Jeremy Lane, I knew about. Okay, Jeremy Lane's a little different. Sheldon Richardson, oblique. I kind of expect all these guys to play, but it was not cool to look at the injury report this week and see that, because that is every level of your defense right there. That's, you know, Cam Chancellor, safety, that's your star linebacker, that's your star defensive tackle. That's not what we need with Earl already missing the game. So be okay, guys, really. But yeah, expecting a good win, expecting, like I said, defensive line, go to work, eat, force turnovers, make big plays. Offense should take care of things, no problem at that point. Just don't let it be a shootout. If this game is a shootout, I mean, the Houston game was one thing. If this game is a shootout, we need to seriously reevaluate what we think we have on defense. All right. It's going to be a good one tomorrow. Let's have fun.